Hello everyone, welcome back to geography class. Now in this class we are going to discuss the revision of chapter number 1, India size and location. We have already covered a few portion in the previous revision class. Now the remaining portion will be covering today. So let's begin. We were actually discussing about the standard meridian of India in the previous class, and we are going to continue with that. Now, what is standard meridian of India? The word meridian means longitude. All right. So, we are concerned with longitude here. So, standard meridian is actually the meridian or the longitude which passes at 82.5 degree east. Now here you can see on the map a dotted line is drawn right from north to south. Alright, and this is passing at 82.5 degree. This is 80 degree longitude and 84 degree longitude. Now in between you have approximately here 82.5 degree east longitude. So from there a line has been drawn and this is called as standard meridian of India. Now it passes through a place called Mirzapur here in Uttar Pradesh, and we set our watches as per this standard meridian. Alright, let's know more. Now what is the need of having standard meridian in India? See, different countries have different time zones. We have only one country like Russia, which is the biggest country, has 11 different time zones. USA has 9 different time zones. So what is the need of this? So let's understand that. Now if we talk about the latitudinal and longitudinal extent, in the previous classes I have explained to you, the latitudinal extent of India is 8 degree 4 minutes to 37 degrees 6 minutes north, whereas the longitudinal extent is 68 degrees 7 minutes to 97 degree 25 minutes east. Alright, now here we are concerned with time. So we are going to talk about longitude only because longitude influences time. So if you see from 8 degree to 37 degree, there are approximately 30 different latitudes. Similarly, from 68 to 97, there are 30 different longitudes. Now remember this, that to rotate 1 degree of longitude, the earth take 4 minutes. And as we have 30 longitude right from 68 to 97, so how much time will the earth take to rotate 30 degrees? It will take 120 minutes. Alright, you can convert it into hours. It becomes 2 hours. It means that right from west to east there is a lag of 2 hours. Alright, if you are here living in Gujarat, which is on the west, and the other person who is living in the eastern state, extreme east, say for example Arunachal Pradesh, their watches will show different timings. The person who is living on the eastern part, his or her watch will always be ahead of time. Alright, so by the time you start moving from west to east, the time starts changing. Alright, this time gap is not very much, means as at every longitude there is a time gap of 4 minutes, but from west to east, by the time you move from west to east, this time gap becomes 2 hours. Alright, so it becomes difficult to have different timings on different longitude for the same country. So to avoid this confusion, it was decided to have one common line, common meridian for the whole country, and that is why we have selected this 82.5 degree east as the standard meridian of India. It means whenever 12 noon is here on this 82.5 degree east, it is considered to be 12 noon for the whole country. So in India, we set our watches as per Indian standard time, or you can say this 82.5 degree east standard meridian. And as I told you earlier also, this passes through a place called Mirzapur here in Uttar Pradesh. So this is the influence of longitude, that we have different time zones. Now let us see what is the influence of latitudinal extent. As I told you that from 8 degree north latitude to 37 degree north latitude, we have approximately 30 different latitudes. Alright, so latitudinal extent actually influences the duration of day and night. Any place which is situated close to the equator will have less duration or less difference between day and night. This we can understand by taking an example of two places, Kanyakumari and Jammu and Kashmir. You can see where Kanyakumari is situated in the extreme south here at the southern tip, and whereas Jammu and Kashmir is situated at the northern tip, extreme north, and both are situated at different latitudes. Jammu and Kashmir is at approximately 37 degree latitude, whereas Kanyakumari is at 8 degree latitude. Alright, so places situated on different latitudes have influence of day and night. Now as Kanyakumari is very close to the equator, so we hardly feel any difference in day and night, because at equator the sun shines vertically. So the moment you go far from equator towards north, alright, so the angle of the sun also changes, and that is why by the time you reaches to Jammu and Kashmir, which is very far from the equator, the duration of day and night can be felt easily. And this is how the latitudinal extent influences day and night. Our next topic is the trade relationship between India and the world. How was it developed through ocean route, and how was it developed through land route? So first we'll talk about India's trade relation, or India's contact with the world countries through ocean route or through maritime. So you just look at the map and see the position of India, location of India. This is India, and it lies between East Asia and West Asia. And this position is very important. Because of its position, India can develop its trade relationship easily with Eastern Asian countries and Western Asian countries. Alright, through the eastern coast, it helps to develop its trade relationship between Southeastern Asia and Eastern Asia, and through the western coast it helps in developing its trade relationship between Western Asia, Africa and Europe. So it's only because of the position or location of India. Now if we talk about the coastline of India, so we have a very long coastline, stretches right from Gujarat to West Bengal. Alright, and the southern part of India, it actually protrudes towards Indian Ocean. So no other country has such a long coastline in Indian Ocean as India has. This is visible from the world map. And that is why Indian Ocean is named after our country India, which actually justifies its naming also. Our next topic is the trade relationship between India and the world through land route. Now the land route was developed much more before the maritime contact, or before the ocean routes were developed. So in the past, travelers used to enter our country using various passes, Khyber Pass, Nathula Pass, and so many passes. So ancient travelers used to enter the country, and they used to carry a lot of things with them, including the ideas. They were exchange of ideas of Upanishad, Ramayana, which is an epic, then Panchatantra. You must have read the stories of Panchatantra. So all these ideas were exchanged by the travelers who enter our country, and from our country also several things were taken to other parts of the world, like the spices, muslin, cotton. Spices till today's date is being exported to other countries. So there were exchange of ideas, exchange of commodities, and also the exchange of culture. The cultural influence can be seen on the architecture, on the monuments, buildings of India. All right. So this is how the trade relationship developed between India and the world through land route. Now let's talk about the administrative divisions before independence. It means before 1947 there were two types of states. It was not like today where we have 28 states. So before independence there were only two types of states. One was provinces, which were ruled by the British officials, and second one was princely states ruled by the local rulers. But after independence we have 28 states at present and 8 union territories. This is a map before independence. You can see provinces also, you can see the princely states also. Let's talk about the neighboring countries of India. So first we'll start with the north. So in the north, our neighbors are China, Nepal, and Bhutan. To the northwest we have Pakistan and Afghanistan. Then if we talk about east, so east we have Myanmar, we have Bangladesh. Our southern neighbors are Sri Lanka and Maldives, which is not visible here. So Maldives is actually in south of Lakshadweep here. So Maldives and Sri Lanka, they are our southern neighbors and they are island countries. Now we'll see which Indian states shares their boundary with other countries or international boundaries. So we start with the Pakistan. So which are the Indian states shares their boundary with Pakistan? So we have Gujarat, Rajasthan, Punjab. Jammu and Kashmir has become UT. Then with China, we have Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, then Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh. Now with Myanmar, some of the northeastern states share their boundary like Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland and Arunachal Pradesh. And with Bangladesh, we have West Bengal, Meghalaya, then Tripura and Assam. Now this is a picture of Suez Canal. I am sure you must be knowing the importance of Suez Canal. Now Suez Canal is very important because it played an important role in developing the trade relationship between India and European countries. Because after the opening of this canal, the distance between India and the European country has been reduced. It was reduced by 7,000 kilometers. Here on the map you can see the previous route. So this is Indian coast. From Indian coast, if you travel, you have to take such a long route via African coast to reach to the European countries. But now after the opening of Suez Canal, it has reduced the distance from Indian coast. You can directly use this Suez Canal. This is Suez Canal. Alright, and then you can reach Europe. So you can see how much distance has been reduced. Now this is a picture of the southernmost point of India or the southern point of Indian Union, that is Indira Point, which is actually submerged after 2004 tsunami. Here on the map you can see this is Indira Point. Okay, so these are few important points, or do you know, which you need to remember, and all the points we have already discussed, and you also need to remember these points. This is the latest map of India, where you will see newly formed union territories also. I think there are a lot of confusion among you that how many union territories are there. Some say 9, some say 7, some say 8. In the book I think it's written 7, so you can change it. At present we have 8 union territories. I think we should count each of them. So we start from north. We have Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Haryana, then Dadar and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. Earlier they were separated, but now they were merged to form one UT. Alright. Then we have Puducherry or Pondicherry, Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep and Delhi. So we have 8 union territories. So with this we have completed the revision of chapter 1 of geography, and I'm sure you are also doing the revision at the same time. Please go through the chapter thoroughly, read each and every detail given in the textbook. Alright, so after that also, if you have any doubt, we can always discuss this through ERP. Thank you and have a nice day.